Alright, so this is what we're going to make today. Like I said, this is just a sample size, but what I'm going to show you is at the end is ways you can customize this to make it into any other type of project. A beanie, a blanket, a scarf, a cowl, and there are different ways you can make these too, but I just wanted to show you my way of doing it. So that's what we have, and I'm using Red Heart Super Saver in Royal. It's the cheapest. I think it's pretty easy to work with, so if you want to practice with it, it's great. I happen to be using it for a project that I'm working on, so we're going to use this, and I'm also using a size H. Can it focus? Size H hook. It says H, I promise. So, first we're going to do a slip knot, and we're going to want to chain 26. So 1, 2, ooh, that slip knot was tight. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 14, 15, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, 26. Okay, and then I'm just going to go back and count them because it's important that we have the right amount, or it won't come out right. We'll be stuck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 26. Perfect. Okay, once we have our chain of 26, we are going to start double crocheting all the way across for the first row. Okay, so in the second chain from the hook is where we're going to put the first double crochet. It's hard to do this when looking at the camera instead of my hands. Alright, and so from then on you will double crochet to the end. Alright, so once you have double crocheted in each chain across, you should have 24 double crochets. So before we get started on the next row, you want to just go ahead and double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Perfect. Alright, from here I'm actually just going to chain 1. That's not usual for when you're using double crochet, but I recently have liked just chaining 1 in my beanies when I do cables. And any other garments, I think it just makes, when I'm joining the ends, say like this for a beanie, it just kind of makes it look smoother and almost seamless. So I'm going to do chain 1. If you do feel like you want to chain 2, you can do that as well. Chain 1, we're going to double crochet in the first double crochet in the next double crochet. Alright, and here is when we start beginning our cables. So we have 2 regular double crochets. Now we are going to front post double crochet and the next 8 double crochets. If you don't know what front post double crochet is, I'm going to show you right now. So just like you are doing a double crochet, you're going to want to yarn over, but instead of entering into the stitch, see if I can bring this up, you're going to insert your hook back around the post of the double crochet. And then just finish like you're doing a regular double crochet. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through another 2. All right, and so what you get now is a stitch that kind of sticks up over the regular double crochets. And that's how our cables are made, are through these front post double crochets. So do that 7 more times. So let's try that again. So yarn over. All right, here is the next stitch we're going into. We want to go behind, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, and there's 2. So now I'm going to kind of speed it up a little bit. And honestly, I love this stitch. The front post double crochet is awesome. You can use it for cables, but there are also other techniques you can use. I don't know if you've seen the basket weave stitch. That is using front post double crochet and back post double crochet. If you've ever seen on Pinterest the alpine blanket, that is also using the stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more. It's just all around a really cool stitch. And I am always big on texture in my pieces. It just looks fancier to me when you use these kind of techniques. So, all right, so there's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 double crochet and 8 front post double crochet. And now we're going to go back to double crochet. So I'm going to do 4 double crochet. Now, if you're wondering what kind of math I'm using to make this sample, I am just using multiples of 12 and then plus whatever you want your turning chain to be. All right, so there's 4. All right, so there is 2, 8, and 4. Now we're going to go back and do 8 front post double crochet. So back to the math. It's something that a lot of people don't like to talk about or think about. They rather just look at the pattern. But in my opinion, if you know how the math works, then you almost don't even have to look at the pattern after a certain point, because you can almost kind of predict what the next step is going to be. So I do this in multiples of 12, and you'll see further on that you don't have to do 8 front post double crochet. You don't have to do 2 here, 4 in between the 2 cables. You can use any combination that will work with a multiple of 12. So I've seen ladies that do 6 front post double crochet and then 6 double crochet and then 6 here. It all just depends on what kind of look you want to get. But for here, I wanted to do 24 because that's a smaller size. And as you can see, the math here would be 8, 8, 4, 2, and 2. So if you break that up in 4s, that's 6. 6 times 4 equals 24. So 2 4s in the 8, 2 4s in the 8, a 4 in the middle, and then 2 on each side to make another 4 would be 6 multiples of 4, which would equal 24. So yes, so a lot of the times cables will be done in multiples of 12. And then of course when you're chaining, plus the turning chain. So in other words, I wanted to have a turning chain of 2. So I went ahead and added 2 to my 24 chains. All right, so here we are. We just finished our front post double crochet, and now we want to do the last 2 double crochet at the end. So hopefully that's not too much information I'm giving you. I don't want to overwhelm you on the math, but honestly, it's really simple, guys. It's not hard. And I honestly take joy in designing my own things. And these are actually cables are so customizable. They're really, you can really just make a lot of different designs with these once you learn how to do it. All right, so now from here I have my 2 double crochet. I'm gonna chain 1. Again, you can chain 2 if you like. I prefer to chain 1. And then I'm gonna double crochet in the first double crochet in the second double crochet. Hopefully I'm showing you guys what I'm doing here. Okay, wasn't really looking at the camera. All right, now we're on the back of the piece, and you see these ridges. This is made when we do a front post double crochet. So now what we're going to do is a back post double crochet, and it's super simple. So we don't want these stitches here to stick out on the back. We want them to stay on the front. So in order to do that, I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to come from behind my work and grab the stitch so it will stick out in the front. Come around the post from the front, and see there, you can see when you do it right, you'll see a little ridge form here. All right, so we're going to do that 7 more times. So here, yarn over, just like a double crochet, go behind the work, around the next post, yarn over, and then yarn over and complete the stitch. All right, so you can see another ridge is forming. And so when you see that here, you can see that this is sticking out on the right side. Okay, and so you'll notice too, when we always go on the back side of the work for the cables, the back post double crochet is always going to make everything pop more. It's going to really make those raised stitches look even more raised than the last row. Okay, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And if you could kind of guess already, now we're going to just double crochet in the next 4 stitches. So you could probably already guess this, but where we double crochet on our project will always be double crochet. So if we have the 4 double crochet here, we will never be doing the front post double crochet stitch in these areas. Same thing for the edges here for the double crochet. And then the front post obviously will always be the front post or back post stitch. All right. So if you want to go ahead and do the 4 double crochet and the 8 back post double crochet, and then the 2 double crochet at the end, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so here is the back side of the finished row that we just worked on. You can see that I have the 2 ridges here from the back post and front post double crochet, and then obviously we don't have any ridges where the regular double crochet stands. Alright, so I'm going to just chain 1 and turn my work, and I'm going to work a double crochet into the first double crochet and another double crochet into the second double crochet. Great. Alright, so this is what we have so far. This is what our work looks like. Look at those stitches. Isn't that cool? All right, so this is the very most difficult part of this technique. I'm going to try to slow it down as much as I can, and really I want you to focus on where I place my left hand. It's very important where you grab the stitches at to get the result you want. All right, so now we are going to do a triple crochet, I believe is what it's called. So instead of yarning over once, you're going to yarn over twice. And something that I found helpful is to just, with your middle finger, grab the second piece, the second yarn over piece, so it doesn't fall off, because that gets really annoying after a while. So we have 8 stitches, and we're going to skip the first 4, and we are going to do a a front post triple crochet in the 5th front post double crochet. So see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 we're skipping, and we're just like a front post double crochet, we're going to pull up that raised stitch, and instead of having, instead of yarning over twice in 4 loops, we're going to do yarn over once, yarn over twice, and yarn over 3 times. All right, and so you can see it's kind of angled towards the right, and that's what's going to create our cable look. All right, so here we go, triple front post, or front post triple crochet. Oh, these names are killing me. All right, there's our second one, and we're just going to do it 2 more times. So the only time we're using this front post triple crochet is when we're creating the curves in the work or the twists. All the other times it's just the front post double crochet. All right. So that part wasn't so bad, right? All right, so the next part is we are going to be doing the same stitch, but we're going to go back into these 4 here. Let's see if I can get this focused. All right, this is the important part. You really want to watch my hand over here. So we're going to do the same thing, yarn over twice. I like to hold it with my middle finger. Now we have to go back all the way to the first front post double crochet, and we want to work behind the ones we just made. So in order to do that, I'm going to take my middle finger and my thumb, I'm going to kind of pull it so that way my hook fits behind. Okay, and now I'm going to go all the way to the end to get that stitch. This is a little hard to show you, but we're just going to go in and see I have my middle finger here, just like we would in a regular front post triple crochet. And then I'm going to pull that behind this work. And now you have this big post right here that you want to work through, and I do not have the right number of stitches because I dropped one of my yarn overs. So let's try that again. All right, let's try to keep it 1, 2. All right, now, so again, let's see if I can do this here. Pull behind, and I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Bring that up and behind, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 1, pull through 2 loops, 2, pull through 2 loops, 3. And so now you can see this stitch here is going behind these 4. All right, And remember, that's the very first front post double crochet that we had skipped. And so now you're just going to go in a row once for the next 3. So the next one is going to be the second one we skipped. And just do the same exact thing. So yarn over twice, right, hold it, grab your work here, pull it through. You do have to do some stretching, but that's okay. If you know how to block, I mean, cables, even with knitting, you have to block. So what I'm trying to say is if you're worried about stretching your work, don't worry about it because that can be fixed in blocking. And even if you didn't stretch it that much, you're still going to want to block this. Okay, so now we have 2. Let's do it again. Hold your work underneath. Grab the third skipped front post double crochet. Bring it up. 1, 2, and 3. Now we have 3. See, it's starting to look like a twist now. Pretty cool. All right, but we have one more. All right, there's the last one. So we're going behind this, and then we are going behind that post, and then behind again. I hope that makes sense to what I'm showing you. All right, and there's your first twist. And so we have this side going towards the right, and we have this side going towards the left, but behind the work we did first. And then we're just going to continue with our 4 double crochet. 1, and this is going to help the twist that goes behind the work kind of come even further out so it looks more even. But honestly, when you first look at this, you think, oh, okay, I don't know if I really like the look of this, but just keep going. It's going to look much better in the next few rows, not even the next 2, but maybe the next 3 or 4. You'll really start seeing the cable look really nice. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're just going to repeat that sequence from the beginning. So yarn over once, yarn over twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, we skip. And in the 5th one, we want to bring up a loop. And 1, 2, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, 3. All right, and there's our first front post triple crochet. Perfect. All right, so if you want to finish that sequence there, and then we're going to end on 2 double crochet here, and then I will show you the next step. All right, guys, so this is what your work should look like after you finish the last cable portion. One thing I did want to point out before we get started, because when we turn around to the back, it is a little difficult to see which side you should do the back post double crochets on. So the idea of the cable is for this to show up over on this side and to eventually come over the top again. For that to look that way, we need to make sure when we flip this over that we are using those ones that we did behind this first. Does that make sense? I hope so. So basically all you need to know is when we flip this over, these are the ones that we want to work on first. We do these 4 first, and then we'll do the ones in the front next. So that way it completely pulls out and we have them come across and they look even again. So another thing I wanted to point out too is, again, with the math, is when you're doing the 2 twists, I like to make sure that my twists are even. So that's why I like to use the multiple of 8. So that way I have 4 for one twist and 4 for the other twist. I've seen a lot of women use 6, where they do 3 and 3. I like my cables to be big and bulky, so I use 8. But any multiple of 2 honestly would work, even 2. I've seen people do like a twist of just 2, or one front post double crochet and another one. Okay, sorry about my dog. So here we go. So again, so that's why we want to do the 2. There is a way you can have a third strand where you can almost make a braid. I'm not going to show that today, but it is possible. And in that case, I'd probably do 2, 2, and 2. Keep it even. All right, so here we go. We're going to chain 1, double crochet in the first double crochet in the second double crochet. Perfect. All right. And okay, like I said before, the ones that are easily accessible right there are the ones we're going to work in. So we're going to do a back post double crochet, just like before. We're going to yarn over once, behind, and now that stitch is going to show up on the front. You're probably wondering why we aren't doing a triple post, or sorry, oh my gosh, these terms are just messing me up. You're probably wondering why we're not doing a back post triple crochet. It's not needed. Honestly, the back side of the project doesn't, it's really only because we have to do it, when we're going back and forth. But it just emphasizes the ones on the front, so we don't need to make them extra long. I'm sure you could, but there's no need for it. And the less triple crochets we do, the better, in my opinion. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have those back stitches. I just want to flip over and show you what that looks like in the front. So now you can see this looks like it's going underneath here. So now we're going to pull from these ones. All right, back post, double crochet. So this is how I do mine. I flip it, and this is the one we're going to grab from right here. So I go underneath, yarn over, pull up a loop, 1, 2. Perfect. And see, now it's lining up in a line. Yarn over, flip over. Let's get the next one. All right, there we are. So this is what it's going to look like from the back. You kind of have this little twist in the back here from the previous row, but that's what it looks like. It's still a ridge, you can tell. And when we flip it over, we can see it forming, it's coming out wide again instead of being, twisted at the top. It's starting to really take shape now. All right, and see, when you look at this, you think, oh, I don't know if this is going to turn out right. But again, in a couple more rows, we're really going to emphasize these cable stitches, and it's going to look a lot better. So just keep trucking. All right, and then again, 4 double crochet. I think I'll just show you this step one more time. Once we get there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we are. So again, we are using these 4 right here, which again, when you flip this over, we are going into these ones, this one first. So we'll flip this back around. And back post. So we're coming behind and around. One. And see, I'm using my fingers to find on this hand over here to find the right places to kind of guide my hook hand to where I need to be. Because especially me, I don't actually stitch too tight. I have actually a really loose gauge to begin with, and I usually on patterns have to use a hook 2 sizes down from what they suggest because I've always had a really loose gauge. But the way that we do these stitches can be kind of tight and hard to maneuver, so sometimes just using your middle finger and pointer finger to find the right place really helps with this. Okay, so there's our 4, and now we're going to go and do the front 4 here. And my dog hears something. I don't know if you can even hear her. She's protecting the house, I guess. Okay. And last one. Great. So there we are. And now we're going to do 2 double crochet here. Beautiful. All right, so there we are with the hardest section, I would say, of this technique. All right, we have this finished. And now we are just going to turn our work, chain 1, and double crochet in the first double crochet, double crochet in the second double crochet, and now we're back to our cables. I'm just going to pull some yarn out. And now we're just going to repeat the second and third rows. So we're just going to really make these cables pop by just going in and doing a front post double crochet on each front post double crochet, or back post, I guess, double crochet. The raised ones, the raised ones. So that's how it looks so far. 1, 2, 3. So you're not going to have the full look until you do this whole process twice. You eating bananas? My daughter is eating bananas. She's telling me all about it. Okay. All right, so there's the 8. And see how it's really sticking out now. And then when we do our next row on the back, it's really gonna pop. Really, really gonna pop. That's what we're doing here. Now 4 double crochet, as usual. Oop. Here we are after that. And just repeat that again. 8 front post double crochets. Uh-huh. Are you eating? Yeah? All right, getting down. What's wrong? Okay, and then 2 double crochets to end the row. And that's what we have so far. Okay, so here we have the first row after our twist that we made. So now we're just going to chain 1, turn our work, and double crochet in the first double crochet. Wow, it's so hard to do it on the camera. 2 double crochet, and now we're going to do a back post double crochet in the next 8, and these are pretty simple. Again, this is just like row 3, I believe. And when we're done here, I'll show you what the front looks like. And then we will just continue. Oh boy. This goes by much faster when you're not taking video of your own hands. All right, almost there. And 8. All right, and so when I flip it over, you'll see that it's even more prominent now. You really can see the cables really pop. Okay, so then, of course, what you're going to do is you're going to continue on the next 4, and then back post double crochet 8, and then double crochet 2. And once you finish that row, we are basically just going to start at row 4 where we twist, and then from there you just repeat until you get the length of the project that you want. And so go ahead and do that. Alright, and so this is what you get when you do 2 sets of the twists. You can count how many twists you've done by how many overlap each other. So 1, 2. So from here, what I would be doing, because this shows me here that I've done 1 row of front post double crochet, and then I've also done a back post double crochet. And so my next step would be to double crochet twice, and then skip 4 front post double crochets, and start the front post triple crochet in the next 4, just like we did on these rows in the past. Like I said, it will need to be blocked. As you can see, it's kind of already curling here on the edges. And also, you really want to make sure that your lines are straight, especially if you're making a garment or a blanket, which is what I will be doing with these here.